Holler if you hear me, and welcome to tonight's edition of Art Uncensored. It is the top of the hour, 10 p.m. Eastern, and we are here and together for another little night of going through some of these boys that we've got right here. Yes, 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 these Playboys I've got. Today was another day, well, because I did go out and, like yesterday, I did have some things to ship, and I was actually recording another postal video today, except that when I did that video, well, there was so much with the rain and with wind and all that. And I even lamented with my neighbor how strange it was. Because, yeah, today I did have the energy to go and collect all the mail that had come in and all that. And, my laundry pickup had also been, taken in and all that. And among the things that came there also included Nick sending me some nice long boxes. There's actually this huge package of like 2 sets of long boxes. Yeah, a good like 9 new long boxes that I've got, there. And that'll be great for reorganizing the comics I have, or and keeping and having a lot more necessary than I need means that then there's a lot of long boxes for a lot of future comics to have and things like that. So well, that's nice little forward thinking right there. And well, hold on a little second. And yeah, well, the assembling all of them, yeah, opening up the big box that came in, and also having these 3 large new boxes that the long boxes came in is also good for shipping other things I would have to take care of, because I actually had to go make multiple visits to the post office today. One for that first big time where I was shipping out something, but then I wound up accidentally putting the wrong item in the wrong package with the wrong a shipping label. So I actually had to go and run back there and go again after I already was dealing with, oh, well, all the audio and all this in the video was useless. So that's why today, the Amtrak video I did, the travel video, yeah, that was my Amtrak from here down to Chicago there for a little bit there. But you channel members out there will get the raw, unedited footage. The whole raw feed will be uploaded for all channel members to see tomorrow. Because yeah, the 6.5 minute footage you see there, that was me editing down. That was a portion of what I did. So instead of inundating everybody with just ongoing nonsense footage, like with Mahler, no, I'll give I'll give you all the best point of the best story right there. And my sister and I actually have been going over all the footage that I shot on the multiple days we were there, and now we've got that going, and will be, there'll be something to see for everybody out there. And she also is, happy to see me doing other kinds of content besides just, she was saying, like, do you really just want to be known for being thirsty for Sydney Sweeney? And even said off camera during after one of the streams during my visit about that I have to update my thirst. Okay, well, although that is pretty contradictory to how YouTube works, where they only they'll pretty much will gift wrap you success and subscriber counts if you only ever have one thing to say or one thing to ever talk about. If you're like I always mention Drunk 3PO, where you really don't say anything that's different or interesting from the likes of Geeks and Gamers, but you're friends with Geeks and Gamers and you're friends with Gina Carano on Twitter. So because you're basically an idiot who has the right friends, you get that major subscriber count right there, and all the money you'd ever want. Or like Disparu, who is as ugly to look at as he is to listen to, with nothing original to say, but because he has an accent and he's friends with Mahler, the Critical Drinker, so he gets a subscriber count going. Yeah, bite me. But then that's always been a thing of mine, because I have that's always been another uphill battle for me. For me, is the fact that, well, I have a channel where I do different things and I really do what I want. Well, the fact that, yeah, I just did a travel video and all that, I pretty much automatically know that, yeah, me not just repeating the same button on one subject over and over and over again in complete perpetuity means that, yes, me getting to even a much simpler goal like 10,000 subscribers is something that is going to be an uphill battle. I'll be up to maybe 10 years on YouTube by the time I finally get to that 10K subscriber goal. And with that, that means that, yes, tomorrow I actually do have more things to ship. So tomorrow there will be another postal video, and I'll be hoping that it won't be as much rain or as cold and all that. So I will be able to record, more accurately, or at the very least be able to record those things. And you'll be actually able to hear them. And also having that postal video will also be more time for editing the video of the next subject of what was all that footage I recorded for then continuing on with first showing up in the city. Hello to Vanessa right there with the Sydney Sween, except with StreamYard, you don't see the emojis, you just see the description for the emojis. So that's always been strange, but okay. We've got Vanessa right here as well. As promised, we've got these. She wanted me to put 2 of these random issues up for sale in my store. And well, yeah, there's the 70s one with this Playmate of the Year who became Mrs. Jimmy Connors. And this one of Erica Laniak, where she appeared on the cover but would not be the centerfold until a few issues later. April 89. Yes, there we go. Those 2 are now up for sale. And Ruby Hoove just gifted a channel membership to Blade Nick. Hello, hello. That is great. That is cool. That is nice right there. And yeah, there's that. And if you saw what I see right now in my room, you'd see all sorts of all sorts of long boxes I have and where I'm going to be organizing them. I still have my Chinese hat in the room right here, but it's nowhere near the kind of climate or whatever to wear that. And by that, I mean, like the long hair and all that I was planning to wear it for. And yes, Ruby Hoove also has been a member for 6 months who wants to say, have a good one. Well, thank you for that one, Ruby Hoove there. You got the stream off very, very nice. And also we have Vanessa giving a little thanks there to Ruby Hoove. And we got Puma Fist saying hello. Well, Colossus also says hello. A little nice right there. Yes. And Colossus. And I already showed, the classic 60s to about the 80s Cyclops right there. And of course, well, you've all, Wolverine also says hello to all of you as well. So there we go. So everybody's saying hello right there. And well, what is this? I'll show you all this. We just got to get the stream. I'll share this to prove where it is, where these are exactly in my store. Scrolling down. All the way, see in the posters and sketches category. There they are. Down there are the June 77 and April 89 issues of Playboy, right next to that one little sketch of Spider-Man. Yes, they're both 100 each. Vanessa says, well, no. I'm hoping that a nice Playboy collector will buy an issue. Well, no. All right. I hope so, too. But now we get back. Let's... And scroll. Yes, there it is for 100. And then the next one is right here to prove where they are. You see, I did this. We got this ready. We got this going. We had a good bit of fun right there. Yes. And now we are back in place in this area, in this realm, in this world. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And we still got right here the gifts I got from Phil Diaz from his little table there he was set up at this year's C2E2, including this little fold-out poster of the Lost Pages. Right there. Very nice. Those are all things he just handed out, giving you all a better, cleaner look at them than from what happened when I went during the C2E2 stream, where the whole thing with the traffic, with the people going on there, led to the signal not working. Then there's this ash can of the people. Very nicely printed for a little black and white right here. Oh, yes, very nice. Very good. Very much a kind of small press thing you would see somewhere. Like at that Chicago comics store I went to that had the like small press or self-published kind of racks right there. And then there's this one, Magic Cop, another one of the Zaid Comics people, their work here, including some of this work. Very colorful. And it's colorful and there's a lot of movement. And also I got myself a beach towel. This was the other big gift that they handed out, was this nice little beach towel, including a little cartoon rendering of Pitt right there. You see there, I think that's supposed to be Pitt. Pitt recreating the copper tone ads right there. If I can get the whole thing in place, you'll see where it is. Yes, this hole right there. Oh yeah. It's actually sideways, but hey, you get where it's coming from. You get it, you get it, you got it, got it good. Oh yeah, now we're moving this up and out, and there'll be more to see, more of this, and also a better look at what I got at the store at Chicago Comics that other day. Hold on there for a bit and I'll show you. Ooh. Right here. Oh yeah. If you liked that, well then, from Chicago Comics, I got this. I told you it was funny. They had that one thing that the Pride Month book they had in the dollar box that was on the ground, and then up on tables for everyone to see, they had this back issue of FHM, which is funny. Along in that same table back there, they had a stack of Playboys, 60s Playboys actually. Now they got this one too. And I also took one of their free comics right here. This might be something that I'll ship out with someone else's work. With, I mean, in the display racks in front, they had this of local hero Dennis Eckersley. And why would they have this? Because this details from the 1986 season, and 1986 is the year that the Chicago Comics actually opened. So I'm guessing that's why they got this. And also in the back, they had adults only comics, including the work of the great Italian porno artist Milo Manara. That great work here. Two collections, one called Shorts, and the other was a series he did called Butterscotch, which was basically an Invisible Man story. It's a sort of it actually got adapted into a late night Cinemax movie called The Erotic Misadventures of the Invisible Man. And Minara also is known in his local Italy for a comic series he did called Click, and that also got adapted into, I think, multiple Cinemax late night films. So, yes, Milo Manara and his bibliography was getting adapted out there in Hollywood long before we had any MCU. And also, I would say that, yeah, the Milo Manara stuff is far more readable or far more watchable than the MCU stuff, but you already know there. And there's Vanessa with the link to the store for those Playboys I put there. Yes. And you get to see a nice little bit in the back. Yeah, the actual interior art in these comics is black and white. And this one, yeah, the cover here is more accurate because it's black and white, but then here they give you a color cover, even though it's black and white interior. I always found that to be a little bit misleading when you see the color cover and then there's the black and white interior. But maybe they just do things differently in Italy. And also, our good friend, Mr. Manara, Signora Manara, he is good at also doing comics fully colored, like, and I think watercolor he'll do. But I'm trying to see if I can show you anything, if this is actually no idea. Here's one from Shorts that actually has some pages I could show. And that's about it. Because, like I said, hardcore, like, oh yes, hardcore. You see everything. If the Kelly Sue DeConnick's of the world got angry at Milo Manara's variant cover he did for Spider-Woman, where she's on all fours with her ass up, and they demanded that be cropped and censored. If they looked at a single page of his Click series or Butterscotch right there, that they would be catatonic. They would be. Or the opposite of that, they'd be so hyper psychotically angry they'd be destroying their own home, screaming about the patriarchy, like that fat bitch that they call Big Red. You know, that type of no talent waste of space. Speaking of disparu, but all right. And well, here's the what was the main event for tonight? We've got here a little bit of those right there. And yes, they're all from the 90s. I made sure of this, including one I told you about before as an inside joke for when Naked Gun 3 was in theaters. If you remember the villain, the villain who is on his plane and it gets blown up with a bomb fires off. The guy gets launched into the air and he happens to crash into the plane of the man who hired him. But you see that guy in the toilet, and if you look at it, you can see he's got this Playboy issue with him, which is a February '94. And remember, the movie came out, I think it was like spring or summer '94, because like the Naked Gun 3 premiered, and then I think weeks later was when, there was a dead white woman at OJ's house. And well, because this was the 90s, we're going into a different decade. So the back ad was not all now about smoking or drinking. Now it's about cologne with a very suggestive buff dude. You go, you get your Playboy, and imagine somebody using this to masturbate, and for whatever, the page flaps around a little, and suddenly there's this dude, shirtless, like, oh yeah, Anna Nicole, and then suddenly, oh God, that guy, what? No. And in what they're advertising for next month, they have Beavis and Butthead there. Yeah, cool. Well, they got a dominatrix right there. Looks like a demon woman. Don't tell me what to do, my vicious devil woman. Call the fire department. This one's out of control. It's poop again. He called the shit blue. I'll get you damn kids for this. You're all gonna die. Oh. Playboy's picks of the pack. Now, when you think of what's entertainment for men, what sort of man reads Playboy? Do Toyotas really come to mind? You see the Toyotas right there? Do these look like things that a affluent man about town would be driving around in? No. This is what you're driving if you're the guy who's like, you didn't come from money, but you got into like a business school or whatever on scholarships, and you're going there and you want to be on the level of the rich kid like a Hunter Biden. But okay. There's a little cartoon, the man watching celebrity fucking. Looks like the gloves are really off this season. Okay. To my Valentine Brad, with all my love, Betty. Well, a fellatio telegram would be interesting. 94 and 95 color calendar with a black and white advertisement. And Pete Townsend is the interview. Pete Townsend of The Who. This brings it back to the mid-90s. It's my new auto theft protection device. It's called the Club. Get it? Yeah. If there's anything that reeks of mid-90s, it was the Club, if you remember that. The original panty of the month. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you saw that, do you think we should call this number? It's not a 1-800 number, but should we call it to see what that call goes to now? Wouldn't it be interesting? It's probably now like a number that was given to somebody from a cell phone cover or a company or whatever. The Better Sex video series. Have you ever heard of these? Did anybody know anybody that ever actually owned these tapes? But I wonder. Well, now we're getting into some ladies I can't show you. Actually, wait, there is one. Hey, for those that enjoy a chocolate cone, if you know what I mean, for those that want, some, you want the chocolate piece. Oh, Lord, that's the 2-day-old. Let's see, Vanessa's saying that 2-day-old clip in my feed titled Trashcast EVS gives Ricada advice. Yeah, but then again, yeah, EVS, that waste of life. Yeah, no. He's the kind of attention whore that thrives on E-drama, so, give him less attention. Give all your attention to Chris Berman right here. He's the 20 questions in this issue. Well, because unlike EVS, Chris Berman did go all the way. The folks at Carrie's Creations in Bremerton, Washington designed the Suspend Hers to help big-bosomed women, cup sizes D to K, achieve the no-bra look, letting it all hang out while seemingly defying the laws of gravity. I can't really show you that one, but there it is. And apparently a woman's bare ass from a woman's bare ass appeared in an episode of NYPD Blue. And then they just showed Sylvester Stallone naked on the cover of Vanity Fair. No thanks. Oh. Here's an idea, getting the boot, but then again, at least you get to be in the same presence with a woman that good looking if you get the boot. Better than getting the club. Yes, yes, yes. Playboy profile, king of the world. No, it is not about James Cameron. It's about whoever this is supposed to be. I'm not sure, but this era, they did have these profiles that would have these nice caricatures here from this illustrator. I don't know, but did good work in here. And well, we've got the centerfold, but who was the centerfold right here? Oh, this centerfold in this issue also would be this year's Playmate of the Year. And let's see, well, what is the centerfold's bust, waist, and hips? I'll give you a few seconds to guess the bust, waist, and hips on Miss February 94. A 34B, a 24, and a 35. Oh, well, I can show you the pictures there. There's a curious gentleman in the pictures in the bottom right there. The one in the big white hat. Yes, the best centerfold. You're going to be so proud of your centerfold. Not like Crooked Hillary. Not at all. She's going to make centerfolds great again. Not the only time that the Donald appeared in Playboy in the 90s. I can tell you that for sure. Well, here's a page with some photos of the centerfold I actually can show you. After this, she became one of the lady presenters on The Price is Right. They were called Barker's Beauties. Yes. I think actually in the time between being the centerfold and then becoming Playmate of the Year, she actually got hired as one of the showroom girls on The Price is Right. And actually there were several Playboy centerfolds that wound up being members of Barker's Beauties, including a nice little redhead number from the late 90s. Oh, here's a nice one. A ring in her navel. Oh, and well, I mentioned before about the creator of Plastic Man. After he got away from comic books, he was one of the early illustrators for Playboy, including doing like cartoons. And here is a 2-page spread of the early years of Playboy's cartoons that were done by Plastic Man creator Jack Cole. I even have the Jack Cole biography that reprints a bunch of his Playboy work in like the later chapters. I think that was fun. Yes, because he actually wound up taking his own life and addressed Hugh Hefner in his note, in his suicide note. I'm not joking. Look at that one there. Oh, yeah. And then some more. No, Angie Everhart was not a centerfold. This was a lady from like, I think she was like in August 99, and she was the centerfold that I was talking about. Now, Playboy's car of the year. What is this? A Camaro Z28. I think, oh yeah. It's not the most sleek and rich people's looking car right there. I think that's when their taste in the finer things in life was starting to fall off. She was good. She was fun. Fiction by David Marusek, an author I've never heard of. It's a bit of a downstep from that one issue last night where they had a sample of the David Mamet play that then got turned into the film about last night. Well, now we're getting to the goods with Anna Nicole Smith right here that I can't show you. You get to see her in a hot tub with a man. Angie Everhart did do Playboy a bit in the early 2000s. And also another 9.5 weeks with Mickey Rourke. You're fun Spider-Man, but you tickle. Get it? So does this mean that Spider-Man is a French tickler now? I don't know. To Live and Die in L.A. Heavy dope from Rap's Original Gangsta. An article by Ice-T. Yes, that's right. I'm the motherfucking cop killer. Now you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Cheerios commercials. And commercials for laundry detergent with Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's right. Why? Because I'm a motherfucking cop killer gangsta bitch. And we've got Spider Fan back in the chat for the first time in months to say, unpopular opinion, Anna Nicole Smith is overrated. Pam Anderson and Jenny McCarthy are much hotter. Well, okay. At least they did, at least McCarthy and Pam Anderson didn't overdose. And also, Pam Anderson demanding for the pardon of Julian Assange when Trump was first in office, and Jenny McCarthy being, questioning vaccines years before, COVID made us all question vaccines in general. So that makes Jenny McCarthy a woman ahead of her time. Love, Sex, and Intimacy for the New Relationships, produced in association with the Sharper Image. Yes, a Playboy tape produced in association with the Sharper Image. Apparently, it's a sex advice tape. And then here's a Playboy catalog featuring Miss December 91, who's actually from here in my home city. Miss December 91, Wendy Hamilton is her full, yep, if you want to know. There she is. And I don't know why the Sharper Image is doing work with the Playboy channel, but okay. Well, Vanessa says, I agree. Well, okay. Or, oh, I'd heard of, I been meaning to show you one of these. Yes. These 1-800 numbers where you get like the automated message from the Playmates here. See, there's Anna Nicole. There's our centerfold this month. And there's Wendy Hamilton again right there. Yes, this. We want you. Be our red hot Valentine call. This 1-800 number, only $3 a minute. You have to be 18 years or older. Okay. Well, there's what Pete Townsend of The Who looked like in the mid 90s. Well, okay. At least he wasn't the one that got caught with, Vosh style porn on his in his home, like what happened with Roger Daltrey. Yeah, Roger Daltrey had a bunch of, a bunch of kiddie porn in his home, and he said he was researching a book. Yeah, right. Another big buff shirtless dude, full page ad. Her. You want a Nordic track? Here's a full page ad for Nordic track. Spider-Fan says, one of the most iconic 90s issues is the one with Rena Marrow, one of the best selling of all time. Oh, yeah, the Sable April 99 issue. Oh, yeah. I've got that somewhere. Here's an ad for We Heat Up When the Sun Goes Down, Playboy TV, including this month, erotic fantasies, how to reawaken your sexual powers, and Secrets of Making Love to the Same Person Forever, Volume 2. That's what's on February in Playboy TV. And we've got the letter section that have letters coming from Spokane, Washington, Miami, Draper, Utah, Anderson, South Carolina, Applegate, Oregon, Brooklyn, New York, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Honolulu. Oh. All in this little one are right here. And well, I thought at least one of them has to be Pam Anderson related, so why not this one? Yes. You want to see her there with, of course. I've said before, women can't control themselves around men from Saskatchewan. So even here, Pam Anderson at the height of her Baywatch popularity, there she is with Dan Aykroyd because, well, you have Mr. Saskatchewan with the century child of Canada. That's another thing about her. She was the first child born New Year's Day on Canada's their 100th Independence Day. Look that up. Oh, well, this also is more back to what we expect with the back pages being nothing but booze. Spider-Fan says, I wonder if any of those Playboy letters were real or if they were made up. Well, that's more of a Penthouse forum thing, where letters to Penthouse and all those sex stories. That sounds more like stuff where, yeah, probably were made up, or I'd guess that they were made up. And even if they weren't made up, it was like a John Candy's character in Splash, where he's just writing in letters to Penthouse to get them published. There's Mao saying about Marlboro before all the Clinton era regulation against advertising smoking and all that. Maybe it was about half real and half fake. With Penthouse, yes, but with the Playboy letters, they would go and do like different. It depended on the subject. Or here's one. They've got the Conehead ads right in there. They really were marketing the Coneheads movie in Playboy, but yeah, because you look at the Coneheads movie, and that really was a movie that was like going for the type of Playboy audience, wasn't it? Yeah. And well, a Guess ad that does not have either Claudia Schiffer or Anna Nicole Smith in it. Strange. But this also was around the time they had the Playmate review video. Of course, there's the two gingers right there are the ones I'm more interested in. Where my middle finger is, and this one right here. The one down here also was like a veteran, I think, so they have her in like a sexy military-looking thing. Spider-Fan says the Coneheads movie's underrated. Yeah, actually, I saw that on HBO all the time. That's one I used to watch all the time and always like it. Yeah, it was PG, and yet you've got Dan Aykroyd on the cover here for Playboy to promote the movie. Yes, that is strange. I do not know why you would do that. We may just be men from France, but that is still strange. And then we've got when we heat up on Playboy TV, we've got Playboy's Secret Confessions and Fantasies, Eden, and the 1993 Playmate Review. I can actually show you this page. And they've got one of the gingers on there, so that's nice. I just assume that every natural redhead is actually Jean Grey, so that if you anger them, they all secretly have that Phoenix Force inside them that will burn you alive if you don't please them. There's that. And the letters here, we've got Eureka, Utah, Bristol, Rhode Island, Goose Bay, Labrador. Okay. We've got the CEO of Guess Incorporated, George Marciano, in a letter right here. Because that was him congratulating Playboy on selecting Anna Nicole Smith as Playmate of the Year when they, and she was Playmate there, then became the Guess Jeans girl. Monroeville, Alabama, Bethesda, Maryland, which is where I was born. Interesting. And now we go back there to the ads. And Vanessa says, I'm sure in your head you imagine Jean Grey's carpet to match her drapes. Yes, I do. And Spider-Fan, you think I'm not aware of Playboy did a Red Hot Redheads video? I've never physically owned it, but trust me, all of that classic Playboy channel content is available on websites with Hub or X in the title. And yeah, trust me. My penis gives a standing ovation every time. Spider-Man says they did, the Red Hot Redheads. And of course, that one from 1999 I was telling you about, who then wound up also being in Penthouse. Yes, she's featured in that tape. And I think she's actually also on the box cover. And let's, Varja McCready's in the chat to say, I think Labrador's in Canada, but that is a strange name. Yeah, for an actual, location. Maybe it's something to do with the retriever, the Labrador retriever is from there, I'm guessing. Here's one. They've got Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, the authorized photo history of Irish Macalla, who was the original Sheena, live action Sheena on the TV show for the early days of TV. Right there. Sheena being the first female comic book hero title character. Yeah, she made her debut before Wonder Woman did. And then they wound up giving her her own TV show, as well as I think also movie serials. And then there was the big budget Sheena movie in the 80s with Tanya Roberts, and Tanya Roberts did Playboy to promote it. Oh, there's that Grapevine segment. And yeah. Who else out there still owns enough CDs to have all these racks? Yes. Even though Tanya Roberts was a natural redhead, but hey, she was playing Sheena, so okay, she went blonde for that. Although she was ginger in her Playboy appearance, which of course I do have that issue. Okay, here's one. These two men in prison. You're not a homophobe, are you? Big Bubba there's asking the little Woody Allen looking one. Oh, and I almost forgot. There was that Sheena show in the late 90s that had that one Baywatch actress on it. I forgot her a name immediately. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she was an evil lifeguard on Baywatch. Then she quit the show and they put her on the Sheena series. Yeah, that one. That you can now watch on Tubi, and it's a fun time. Oh, yes, Gina Lee Nolan, that was her name. Thank you, RJ. Yes, it was Gina Lee Nolan from Baywatch that then was on it lasted, I think, like 3 seasons or so, on that time. Like, around the same time, they did a TV show of the Arthur Conan Doyle book, The Lost World, where they had a Sheena type of jungle blonde sexy lady in it. And yes, I've actually drawn both of them, both Sheena and that lady. Oh, and another one, but different one for the Better Sex video series. Hey, they're not topless. Their genitals aren't out, so I can show them. Although in that centerfold from the previous issue, there was no visible labia. And well, these naked ladies from, I believe, Australia also, well, they're not showing labia, but they're still very nice. Oh, they're lifeguards. Admiring the saving graces of these women in the big white chairs. So it's lifeguards from around the world, I guess. But I can't really show. I can show this portion of one. Yeah, there it is. That lady, she. Well, I wonder, with women like that, if you, how many guys tried to drown on purpose so that the lifeguard would then have to go on duty and rescue them. Let's see. Irish McCalla was the best Sheena, in my opinion, says Spider Fan, because the black and white TV show is really good. I would recommend it if you like 50s TV. Well, because of Tubi, a lot of that 50s TV is also available. Like, all the big, like most of the big 50s shows are also available there to see on Tubi, just like anything else, like from the 90s, like you might remember like the Ultra Force or Wildcats cartoons. So I'm guessing that both the Gina Lee Nolan Sheena would be there, and also that one too. And yes, the better sex ads. I always forget the excitement of Aykroyd's face in that image. Well, I mean, yes, he's a married man, but still, I mean, like I said, he's a guy from Saskatchewan. He knows women like this, always want some. Like when I was there in the city, my sister and I did rewatch the Blues Brothers and the gas station scene where he's hitting on Twiggy. You know that off camera. I don't think he was married then, so I think yeah, she wanted a little something something. And also apparently during that time, Carrie Fisher was dating Dan Aykroyd because well, even Hollywood royalty with a coke problem like Carrie Fisher cannot control themselves around Saskatchewan men. The pride of the Detroit Red Wings, Gordie Howe, who's been dead for about a decade now, still you show photos of him to the ladies, and they just need it. Brian Pam Anderson was something special. Oh yes, the even after the work Dr. Schlotkins did on her chest when she did not need implants. Like if you look at her when she originally was the Playmate of the Year for 1989, yeah, she was amazing. But then what was happening in Hollywood with breast augmentation? If anything, it was her that really then led to it being popularized outside of the Hollywood people, and also on top of that, with her, it was a matter of her being so tiny. It like the inflation of her breasts looked so much more like whoa, eye catching because of her tall frame, her small frame. I mean. Like if it was on like a more statuesque actress, like say, Julie Strain, who did those Andy Sedaris 90s movies and married Kevin Eastman and starred in Heavy Metal 2000. And now I see on Tubi, the original Heavy Metal movie. I watched that last night. That was on. So they got the original Heavy Metal movie and Heavy Metal 2000. And also at last, I saw that the documentary about that 70s version of Dune that Alejandro Jodorowsky was supposed to make, Jodorowsky's Dune. That movie, that documentary about how that movie didn't get made is now available on Tubi for me to finally watch. Like how for a while now, they've had that documentary about the 90s island of Dr. Moreau and how much of a hellhole production that was. Yes, and how people saying that Carrie Fisher, her coke problem with how she had her pinky nail was so much longer than her other nails. When you see her in Return of the Jedi, and we see her like patting Mark Hamill on the shoulder with her coke nail out there, but she denied that, saying, "No, I used a spoon to do cocaine." Yes, she did not deny doing cocaine. She did not. She denied doing it with the long nail like that. She would use a spoon on her cocaine. Would you recommend the heavy metal movies? Hell yes, Spider fan. I would recommend them. Although it's strange how the first heavy metal movie is an anthology, like, an issue of the magazine would have been. And yeah, there's the one, like the most famous of those stories they adapt is the Den, that like sort of gore Conan the Barbarian kind of story that was published throughout those years. That now Dark Horse has been reprinting in hardcovers that I see at a bunch of comic shops by Richard Corbin, who was like probably the single before Alex Ross came along and was able to get into the mainstream with doing Marvels and Kingdom Come and all that. The single best painter working as a comic book artist was Richard Corbin on his work, like Den, which is what made him a name, and it's probably one of the single just best made comics that's ever happened out in North America. And no wonder from then he wound up getting hired by when the Ninja Turtles guys got big. Then he was one of the many artists they hired to go and do like issues of the Ninja Turtles with them. Like they had him paint an issue of Turtles, and then I think also Rick Veitch did an issue, and of course now they did the crossover issue with Cerebus the Aardvark, where Dave Sim co-wrote and drew it with them. We've got Donnie in the chat as well. Hello to Donnie there. And yes, also, I would recommend Heavy Metal 2000, the one where it's all just one big vehicle for Julie Strain, and it's based off of this one comic story that was being done in the 90s when Kevin Eastman bought Heavy Metal, and a lot of those stories would occur in those issues where they had Simon Bisley painting the covers, where it was Julie Strain as the likeness, as the model for the lead of those stories. Yeah. Yeah, those Simon Bisley painted covers that then were featured on the Playboy Channel show Sexcetera, when it was the Playboy Channel's answer to Real Sex, and they did a segment in an episode on Julie Strain, and they showed her being married to Kevin Eastman, and they showed her working doing like photo where her in costume posing for Simon Bisley to sketch as reference for the next issue of Heavy Metal magazine's cover. And this is after Simon Bisley bought a piece of my artwork, actually. Very nice. Bush, but no labia. We've got these beautiful ladies swimming in their, skin, and nothing, wearing nothing but their beautiful bodies, but nice breasts, nice bush, but no labia. We got some other nice ladies here, including a row of them running down the beach together, completely naked, running away from the camera, but I probably still won't be able to show that one. But hey, who wants a nice liquor setup? Or a tennis racket? Or, of course, stereo. What is it with you, Hefner, and stereos? Or a Yashica camera up there? I'm guessing maybe because it was the 90s, they didn't feel like they needed the models to compete with Penthouse and Hustler being more vulgar. So in the 90s, they didn't have the centerfolds doing as many poses with, legs spread wider than Margot Robbie's legs on a movie set with full labia on display. And here's Scott Turow is 20 questions. He looks like a guy that Michael Ironside would play in a movie. Doesn't he look like Michael Ironside? Remember from Total Recall, or as the voice of Darkseid on the Superman cartoon in the 90s? Oh, another thing I said, remember when I was telling you about how Charles Burns, the guy who did the comic Black Hole, did illustration work for Playboy? Well, here's actually Outlaw Head and Tail, fiction by George Singleton with a Charles Burns illustration. I would recommend Black Hole. That is Burns' work there. Burns also had work published in that anthology that Art Spiegelman used to do called Raw Magazine, and they actually profile it in that Comic Book Confidential documentary from the late 80s. The Myth of Male Power, an article by Warren Farrell with this nice little looking piece right there. Nice illustrations work. Well, the centerfold looks like a nice lady. A little bit of bush, just saying. Yes, pubic hair was still allowed on women, just a little pubic hair to be able to show, hey, we're dealing with an adult woman here. None of that Epstein shit. And well, here, yeah, this was the mid '90s, so we still got just a bit, just a nice little sliver that you're dealing with an adult. Jennifer Lavoie is her name, and well, you've now got 10 seconds to guess her bust, waist, and hips starting now. On Miss August '93, Miss Jennifer Lavoie, who's her favorite video is Pretty Woman. That's my fantasy. I have, yes. What does it say about this lady that her big fantasy is Pretty Woman? If you remember that movie. Okay, well, it's been enough time. 32D, 22, and 32 are the bust, waist, and hips. Yes. Curves are for women. And also, sadly, we aren't dealing with adults if we call customer service. Well, yeah. Well, if you insist, there is I can show you this bit. Some picture's a little warped from what I'm obscuring, but no, she seems like a nice lady. When it comes to ladies like this, I always wonder if they're a centerfold that you then don't wind up like knowing as like some big actress or celebrity or whatever later on. Then naturally your instinct will go to, well, what'd you do out later? Holy tamale. Written by Paul Krasner, who was the man behind The Realist, and somebody my father worked with, because Paul Krasner was famously one of the Chicago Seven, and he got like beat to the point of like having like a cane for the rest of his life. And my father actually worked with him as for physical therapy for the sake of that. Paul Krasner was walking around with a cane, and apparently he subscribed to Krasner's magazine, The Realist, and tells the story of he went to this like lecture thing that where Paul Krasner was hosting and talking, and I remember him saying about my mom was like, "This is so boring. Can we go?" I remember telling that story to my sister, and she's like, "Yeah, I would see mom being like that." Ladies, if you're all ready to become sopping wet immediately, remember, this is a Playboy from the summer Jurassic Park was in theaters. And you know why so many women were okay with seeing a big dinosaur movie, because they were promised Goldblum shirtless. Yes. Ladies, we all know the only reason that you sat through Jurassic Park with your boyfriends or your husbands, or if you were like, a mom and you're there with the kids to see Jurassic Park, because, well, then you saw Goldblum, and then especially in the third act when you see him laying there and he's got his shirt open. And then that brought up the memories of when you got to see him either in his underwear or just totally bare-assed and oiled up in the first half of The Fly, when he's working on something that will change the world. And no, it's not apartments.com, although that is something else I will do on the side. But first, I am perfecting teleportation, Gina Davis. And when it works on myself, I will mount you and porn slam you to the point where you'll need a walker just to get around. Yes. Would you prefer if I was like my how I treated women in my first movie, Death Wish, where I showed Charles Bronson's wife that no means yes? Yes. Goldblum's film debut in Death Wish. Goddamn rich cunt. I kill rich cunts. And then after that, he got in another film from the same director, known as The Sentinel, where you get to see him, but he's with like his shirt, walking around with his shirt almost completely unbuttoned. So you ladies out there, you get to see a young Jeff Goldblum also walking around there with pretty much a completely unbuttoned shirt. But the director of Death Wish liked working with him, so he was willing to show his ass while forcing himself on Bronson's wife in Death Wish. So then later on, you get to see him shirtless. And well, we got some more nice ladies right here. Like mother, like daughter. Oh, no. For any guy who's ever, been introduced to their wife or girlfriend's mother and then has been having to suppress threesome requests or fantasies ever since then. Well, we've got a mother and daughter spread right here. Actually, yeah. Wait, yeah. I can show you these. If you've ever, for the men out there, if you've ever been introduced to, you ever first see the mother of your girlfriend or wife, and then do everything you can to try to avoid threesome fantasies. Go ahead, make my deductible. An article by Peter Moore, and for some reason they have this big full page. I think it's supposed to be the Niagara or Grand Canyon in here. Yes. Let's see. RJ brings the best. Goldblum is someone few hate. Yes. He also was in the B movie. Oh, yeah, yes, Buckaroo Banzai. Yes, I am. No, that one, and that's another one that's on Tubi. That's one of those films, the '80s movies that people do know and like, but it's enough of a cult film that it's always available to watch on Tubi, as opposed to being one of those things that then will be locked behind a paywall on like Netflix or something because it's a big deal. An enlightened proposal with this Ralph Steadman looking illustration. It's not Ralph Steadman, it's Steve Brodner, who's drawing to look like the work of Ralph Steadman. Ralph Steadman, who illustrated Hunter Thompson's novels, if you remember him. Your Money or Your Life article here by Jonathan Greenberg, with this nicely done painting, airbrush-looking painting of a vulture. I consider this vulture to be a tax collector. Here's one. Playboy centerfold collector cards. Except because they're centerfolds, so they're naked, so I can't really show you them, although that would be nice. I think I've seen these cards at like shows, at like conventions. There'll be vendors that are selling like toys and trading cards and all that. That'd be amazing to see that. The best way to a man's stomach, Nordic track. Dedicated to a Nordic track, and you'll wind up with a body like that. Yeah, Spider fan. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum got to be like a major role in two of the biggest movies of the '90s, or 2 out of 3, if you say Jurassic Park, then Independence Day, then Titanic. But it was not in Titanic. But hey, no, 2 out of 3. That still makes him a winner. Yes. Without the oops. Beauties on the Beach. Call now. Join me, Jennifer Lavoie, Miss August, and Playboy's sexy lady lifeguards for some hot summer fun. I wonder what this phone number is for nowadays. And then at the very same time, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig commemorative plates. Don't know if any of you out there would be into these. I wonder who actually bought these. Oh, well, hey. And look who's the interview. Here's what we got. And then he just so happens to also be the interview. No. Although knowing him, he probably was getting blown while doing the interview because, like I said, women cannot control themselves around Memphis, Saskatchewan. Just ask Roddy Piper in his heyday. Oh, here's one. Remember those that one I showed you last night from the 80s of the Jim Baker mistress who then did Playboy and was in the Sam Kinison video? Playboy Celebrity Video Centerfold. For only $19.99, Jessica Hahn is back for thirds because she did Playboy once for the $1 million check, then came back and did it again, and now here's the video centerfold. Oh, yeah, here's $1 million. Can we take some pictures of pussy at Playboy? Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Wow. And then after that, she's rolling around in Sam Kinison's Wild Thing. Yeah, we all got some kind of wild thing that went through our lives and made it hell. You, me, nobody likes to lose. And she's out there laughing at you. I don't care if it was last week or 3rd grade. Someone broke her heart. What was her name? Playboy supports the work of the Design Industries Foundation for AIDS. Get it? I mean, simple imagery. No, but yes, use a condom, asshole. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is, use a fucking condom. I don't know why that is such a difficult. But remember, it's the Playboy generation and all that, where the half generation of boomers and all that, where contraception and the consequences of thinking with your dick compulsively is everyone else's responsibility. And you just go around and fuck whoever you want, and oh no, everyone else has to deal with it. And well, yes. You make my heart scream. You talk everything. Ow! Ow! Yeah, we all got some kind of wild thing that went through our lives and made it hell. You, me, nobody likes to lose. I'm just out there laughing at you. And well, because it did so well last night, I thought, why not do another one where Miss Erica Eleniak right here. Yeah, because remember, yeah, she was Miss July 89, and then that fall was when Baywatch premiered on NBC. And I think, yeah, it had that one season on NBC, then it got canceled. And then after that was when Hasselhoff bought out the show's rights itself to then keep it going through first run syndication. And then it became a big hit. Yep, there she is. Looking as pretty as ever. And I think this was before the implants, because obviously for all of those that remembers her, her striptease in Under Siege, that between her being the centerfold and then her being, the fictional Miss July in Under Siege, that she got some very, very implants. As if you remember when the Cinemassacre, they did that Cinemassacre rental reviews. They did when they reviewed Under Siege, they talk about the scene, and one of them says, "Oh yeah, those are some good '90s fakes." Oh yeah, she got the almost as big as Pam Anderson fakes, except her frame they looked more in proportion on Erica Laniak's frame than on Pam Anderson. Because then after that, she also did that movie where it's like where she's like a Navy prisoner that's being transported, and she mounts up seducing one of the guys that's transporting her. It was called Chasers, and there's a long sex scene where she's handcuffed to a hotel bed. So the guy pulls up her shirt, pulls down her bra, so it's like mauling her tits. But then he goes and leaves to get the key to unlock her. So she's there handcuffed on the bed with her fakes out there, just laying there. Then the guy goes and unlocks him. Then we get the big sex scene. Thank you, Dennis Hopper. Because yeah, that was directed by Dennis Hopper, who also directed The Hotspot. So if you enjoyed if you enjoyed the nudity of Jennifer Connelly and Erica Laniak in the 90s, well, you can thank Dennis Hopper's directing career. Yes, the man behind Easy Rider, and also some of the best nude scenes of the 90s. Spider-Fan asks, do you have the Playboy issue with Donald Trump on the cover? That one is pretty expensive now. Actually, I don't. The March 1990 issue, I do not have that. That's one that probably, if I would go up to the used bookstore downtown, they have all those big boxes of Playboys. Maybe now that I'm back here in the city, I probably could make a day of going up to John K. King Used Rare Books, go into their back room and dig through those boxes to see if they have March 1990, because that's the one where it's Trump with the Playmate Brandy Brand, who I showed last night, the one issue where she was the centerfold and on the cover at the same time. And then they put her there on the cover with our nation's 47th president. Do svidaniya. No, this man's victory slogan, if you played X-Men Children of the Atom and you ever want to fight with him. Spider-Fan says, my favorite Baywatch Babe cover is from the March 1998 with Marlise Andrada, who later was in Gex 3. I have that issue, yes, because in that issue, she was the centerfold, and she was the centerfold of that issue also when she was added to the cast of Baywatch. And also in that issue is Jamie Presley doing a spread. So we've got, you got Jamie Presley, and you've got, Agent Extra from Gex 3. They're very nice. Very nice. I would highly recommend it. Although knowing the Hef generation of hating and fearing condoms, they probably would rather use condoms for chasing down uh, ones like that than like and we've got Nick in the chat. Everyone say hello to Nick in the chat as we're just starting to dig into one of the 90s issues that have Erica Laniak on the cover. There's another one around 93 that had her on the cover. I was around the time of she had already been in Under Siege, but also that was the year of when the Beverly Hillbillies movie was in theaters where she played Ellie Mae. Rear doggy. That's all I have to say about that. Yes, that is Elle Macpherson in the thumbnail. We're saving the best for last on that one. Yeah, that's the famous Elle Macpherson Playboy that you even if you weren't into Playboy or whatever, if you're a Seinfeld fan, then you remember this one from that later episode of Seinfeld when they send the police bomb threat robot into George's office. They open up his drawers and all they have are candy bars and this. Oh, a little empty calories and male curiosity. Hey there, George. Yes. I wonder if Hack the Movies has a copy of this just because of the Seinfeld gag. I wonder. People saying hello right there. Oh yes, saying hello and yeah. Yeah, this is the one that a while back I did in a sketchbook recreating this as a Fairchild from Gen 13 posed like this, of course, because a buff, beautiful redhead, of course, I'm going to go and enjoy her work. Caitlin Fairchild, I love your work. At the toy store I went to in Chicago, they had in the package like Barbie doll of Fairchild from Gen 13. But instead, I went and got this. But hey, okay. But hey, why not? Because, well, she makes your penis go, "Do sodanya." Either that or she makes your penis go, "Bah." Oh, and on the back, they want you to smoke. Winston cigarettes, not booze this time. Almost forgot. And on the inside here, now, you can go get LA Gear. If you remember LA Gear. So, yeah, you can go and, puff away on a pack of Winstons and then go for a jog in your LA Gear. Nick says, yeah, Cyclops is probably the better choice, I guess. Well, I've got a bit of the X-Men here from this Marvel Universe set from that era, the late 2000s Marvel Universe ones of Colossus and or about half of the all new, all different X-Men. Now the others would be besides Professor X, the others would be Jean Grey and Storm and Nightcrawler. Jean Grey, Storm, Nightcrawler, and Professor X. Those are the only other ones those are the ones left I would need to have this, set up right there completely. And Nick says, "Oh man, LA Gear shoes, the light up shoes, right? I remember seeing like light up sneakers. I never owned any, but living in LA, I would see people that had them. Yeah. Yes. Makes ding dong go boing, boing, boing. Or not boing, 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 or boing, boing, boing. Hey, baby. Are we going to score? Spider-Fan also says, in the March 1990 issue, they asked Trump if he ever wanted to be president, and that time he said no. I think he changed his mind. Yes, or that clip Razor Fist did in his video after the 2016 election, where he shows the clip of the Donald on Oprah, and he was talking about something to do with, I think, NATO or whatever. And Oprah's like, "This sounds like presidential talk. Are you interested in that?" And he's like, "Oh no, that's something I wouldn't really want to think about." But hey, people do change their minds about what goals they have in life or what they will do or what they want to do or not want to do. I mean, it is a thing. Yes, yes, yes. Just like Jack Daniels. Maybe it has something to do with Jack Daniels. I don't know. Jack Daniels with those. If you look at it, yeah, it's Jack Daniels still with that nice Brian Boland style of pen and ink rendering. That very hyper refined pen and ink drawing style, like I said, like Brian Boland was able to figure it out. Spider Fan also brings up Eminem's song "Ass Like That" had him singing sound effects about the sounds his pee pee makes about his lyrics. Oh yeah. Actually, yes, that was the Beavis and Butthead. Yes. Boing. Boing. Baby, you're up pretty hot. Anybody ever drink any of this? The St. Paul girl? Oh, and well, if you want an example of 90s, well, Dana Carvey. Dana Carvey is the 20 questions. Even though in this picture it makes him look more like Beck than like Dana Carvey. Does anybody remember Beck? That's what it looks like. And, well, Isabella's been a member for 25 months to say, I love you more. Okay. We got Vanessa bringing up, yeah, get your Playboys here. Yes, I do have a couple of vintage Playboys in my store now. And yes, well, Nick, now there's the idea of me going up to the main John K. King downtown and looking through their Playboy boxes to see if they have the March 1990 issue with our president. Maybe also they'll ask him in that interview if he ever came across anybody else that had a cat named Vagina. Vagina, vagina, vagina. Who wants brass binoculars? I mean, I wouldn't mind having a pair of binoculars or a spyglass. Maybe a spyglass or a sextant. Oh, hey, shockingly, no stereo system. Just an old-fashioned coffee machine up there. Yes, do you want your coffee machine? Wait, who named their cat that? Yeah, I don't remember who it was, but that was a thing that Trump did. I think it was in that town hall where he was humiliating the shit out of that bitch. And I remember it was that was another one of the many things of when it comes to standing up to my father's ego, not backing down, and him just being a raging egomaniac who then would just shut down and not want to talk because I wouldn't backtrack. And that actually was happening on stream of us arguing, of me mentioning about, yeah, me going on hostile ground to appear in that drunken peasant stream and all that, like Trump going to that town hall in that super, super left wing debate and all that. And my father trying to say, he basically just repeating the line from CNN about, oh no, and trying to excuse, oh no, he wasn't humiliating that woman. He wasn't in hostile territory or whatever. And I went there and like, oh, whoop, 5 people. And then say, yeah, it is a CNN debate with a CNN anchor. And in this town, in this state, that votes nothing but Democrat. He was on hostile territory. He stood his ground and humiliated all of them. And me not backing away from that pissed my dad off to no end. And then he just became, it was one of the many moments of me standing up to his alpha male shit and him just shutting down because he couldn't take it. That kind of guy where if you don't let him scream and roll all over you, he's the one who just starts pouting and shutting down. And yet he'd also be the kind of guy that would, want to shit talk Trump about being such an egomaniac or whatever. But it just be an example of, him being guilty of whatever he's accusing, someone else. Well, we've got the Girls of Canada. Interesting considering that Erica Lanak was replaced by the century child of Canada, Pamela Anderson on Baywatch. And they've got this is not the first Girls of Canada spread that they did. I have an issue from the 80s that also the cover story is a photo spread of the Girls of Canada. They have some really nice photography with a nice mountain range that looks straight out of a Bob Ross painting. But um, uh, I can't show you it because you've got a lady in a duster, but she's nude under the duster. I don't know, with this nice horse. And no, she's just standing there with the horse. She's not letting the horse do things to her that Vosh would want to do to a woman because he's a criminal pervert. But because he has, daddy's money and the right politics, he'll never get deplatformed unless, somebody deplatforms him from life. Something I'll be waiting with bated breath to see. Got this. We got this one girl on a bicycle in 90s neon spandex, but can't show you that. Now we got another lady doing like an Iditarod looking sled, but she's got, full tits out here. Oh, well, there is a nice one where we've got the breasts out, we've got bush, and also there is visible labia under the bush. Check under the bush. Oh, there's the pussy. So a nice little crescent pussy. Like like a crescent moon, or remember Mac Tonight, the nighttime McDonald's spokesman playing the piano with the thing that made him look like the moon and made him look like Jay Leno, either Jay Leno or Bruce Campbell, depending on who you think of more. Probably the general public would think of Jay Leno more than Bruce Campbell. The autocrat of AstroTurf, Whitey Herzog. Okay. I thought it was Tommy Lasorda, but no, this profile's on Whitey Herzog. I've never heard of him. But this is a little bit of a throwing a bone to my baseball fans out there. Well, Think Big, Real Big, Modern Living by Lawrence B. Johnson. And, well, if there's any reason to get a big screen TV, there's a good reason. I mean, hey. And notice, oh yes, notice what he's got right there. I mean, she seems nice. I don't know. Do you think she enjoys volleyball? There's one. For menswear, they've got if you want the Dick Tracy, Mike Hammer look. I'd prefer the Philip Marlowe look, but okay. Mainly because I have I have the Library of America collections of Dashiell Hammett instead of Mickey Spillane or Raymond Chandler. So RJ says I only take the TV if she's busy. Well, yes. I mean, oh yeah, well, that's the theme of this. Menswear for Dick Tracy, calling Dick Tracy, and this was the summer that the movie was in theaters. Yeah, August 1990. That was the summer of the Dick Tracy movie. Like one of like what 3 movies that Madonna was in that ever actually made any money, like that and A League of Their Own. I think Desperately Seeking Susan was like actually successful, but Jerry Seinfeld's Bland Ambition, a person. Except here it's a painting of Seinfeld instead of a caricature. Who are these people? That's it. I'm out of the contest. Yes, Spider fan, I loved the Dick Tracy movie. That's a great one. I've never actually owned or read any of the Dick Tracy comic strip, although I did see that it premiered in 1930 in the Detroit Star. That was a newspaper that this city had, but it was discontinued decades ago. But yeah, the Detroit Star, that was where the original Dick Tracy strip premiered. Oh. I think the Bland Ambition was just a joke on Seinfeld's act being that sort of big, that observational humor that he would do. Like when Seinfeld was first pitched and created, it was built around how the pitch for the show was how a comedian gets its material. That's why for most of the show's run, it would begin and end with Seinfeld doing stand-up. And the opening would be like the setup to the what would happen in the episode, and then the end would be like his like postscript on everything that happened in the episode, and that's what led to that stand-up bit, because Seinfeld's act was all about observational humor. So building a sitcom around how a comedian gets his material was just built on what would happen in his everyday life, and then put it into his act. And then later on, they came up with the catchphrase of the show about nothing. And that became like the big catchphrase for the series, is the show about nothing. Yes, forever. I can't wait to watch beach volleyball either. Although, when you look at those like Olympic volleyballers or like college volleyball, those kind of girls, more often than not, they're the more statuesque girls that are more athletic. So they don't have, the booba, as you've been saying. I think around 2000 there was a Women of the Olympics Playboy issue that I have, and they show a bunch of the women that were like track and volleyball, whatever, and none of them are really stacked. Nick says he just watched my Amtrak video earlier today. It was really cool, and it was so nice and spacious on there, much more than an airplane. Looked amazing. Well, yeah, it's mostly a matter of that. Well, with the Amtrak and all that, I had never been on an Amtrak before, so that was just part of the experiences of what was going on. Let's see. Melissa Everidge is our Miss. Let's see. August 1990. Yes. All right, 10 seconds. What are her bust, waist, and hips? She's from Kentucky. Her birthplace is Lexington, Kentucky. Okay. And her favorite movies are Dirty Dancing and West Side Story. Okay, so she's a musical type. All right. All right, that's enough. 34, 24, and 35. For a little Miss August. And I noticed, at least in this issue and in the Erica Laniak centerfold, there actually are little perforations where you can remove the centerfold. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to damage the integrity of the issue, but I have seen those people on eBay that just sell the Playboy centerfolds. But since the centerfold here is from Kentucky, that means that she is an example of, what we know about the Southern belles. They got to fuck. Right. Well, maybe if they had more ladies like this involved, I'd watch more pro baseball. Hey, Vanessa, I'm saving the best for last, okay? Well, there is this bit of Erica Laniak right there. Her looking in the sexy bandito look right there. But we also got, this also was the time of Bo Derek's last Playboy spread right here. Bo, a perfect 40. She was close to 40, but wasn't turning 40 yet. But yeah, like this was December 94. So that meant that I think it, I want to look it up because yeah, it wasn't too long after that. It was when she was in Tommy Boy, if 4-year-old me seeing her stepping out of the pool in slow motion in that bikini in Tommy Boy definitely left an impression. And if you watch the trailer for Tommy Boy, the trailer for this wacky comedy opens with her stepping out of that pool in slow motion. All right, I just want to see when the movie exactly was in theaters. Release date March. Oh yeah, so literally 3 months later from the cover date of this issue, there's her, March 95. Well, Spider fan, if your favorite is that, we did show that centerfold last night. That her as when she was the real Miss July 89. Certainly more pleasant to look at than Kelsey Grammer. Yes, I know he was good casting as Beast in X-Men: The Last Stand. That still doesn't mean you want to see him like that, but hey. He married a Club MTV dancer who also appeared in the Private Parts movie. But now we save the best for last, and we've got, No empty calories, but a lot of, male curiosity right there. And the stockings she's wearing, you can tell, yeah, you can see a little bit of where, if they weren't so sheer, you would see a bit of labia right there, but that's nice. Yes. L, and then fold out, nude at last. There she is. Arrgh! If I had those big, long, springy, if it had those slinky eyeball sunglasses, that's where I'd be putting them on and having auga, auga, auga. I think I saw Shuon Head do that in a video recently. I recently saw a video for doing that. I should have those and do the auga, auga, auga thing. Or, well, this was the May 1994 issue, so this would have been the spring before The Mask was in theaters. If you remember Jim Carrey watching Cameron Diaz singing The Mask, and then, and the jaw dropping, tongue rolling out, eyes shooting out. Yeah, like that. Oh, oh, and well, they want you to drink they want you to drink with gold pieces in it. Goldschlager, product of Switzerland. well, well, then again, most people, I'm pretty sure that most people here that know Kelsey Grammer weren't really viewers of Cheers and or Frasier, but like Nick, they remember him as Sideshow Bob on The Simpsons. Either that or Beast in X-Men The Last Stand. I mean, for as much as you hate the movie, he still was good in that part. I mean, he was perfect casting. And then they want you to drink and they also want you to smoke. Cool. Right there. Forever says you need the glasses to do the bit with the wolf whistle. Yes, the slinky eye glasses. I gotta find those down. I do live not too far away from a Spencer's Gifts. Maybe they have them. I think you're just making a joke about like there's no middle ground between like if you're a guy, if you're a guy and if you don't immediately go like a cartoon character going auga auga every time you see an attractive woman, that automatically makes you gay. Like there's either homo or Harvey Weinstein. Those are the only reactions that a men are supposed to have. Well, that's how my dad was. If I wasn't immediately like running after a woman while slipping over my own drool, then that meant I had to be a Mississippi queen. Here's another one. We've got Playboy presents Playmates in Paradise, along with the Playboy catalog featuring Miss December 91 Wendy Hamilton again, right there. And this was, I'd already been a good 3 years after she was the Playmate. RJ says, I remember reading Cool Cigarettes was L. Ron Hubbard's brand, and he had some with him when he died. Well, okay. Who's that? I love that episode. That's a complete parody of Cape Fear with Sideshow Bob. I think that's the one where that rake gag comes from, where it goes on for like 3 minutes, where he steps on a rake and the handle hits him in the face, then another rake, and then another, and another, and another, and it just goes on. Hit in the face. That happened to me in real life. Yes. I was chasing after one of my mom's cats in the backyard, and I stepped on her garden hoe, and the handle came up and whacked me in the face. Yes, that really happened, though. Bang! It shows that, yes, it's fun to look at cartoon slapstick, but it's not fun to experience cartoon slapstick. Or in that case, the Sideshow Bob slapstick. Luckily, my mother only had one garden hoe, so I only ever had that one garden hoe to step on, and it'll whack me in the face. Well, bam in the face. Hey, Bart, want to say we new Chainsaw hockey mask? Ah! You know what's funny? This has the baseball preview for the 1994 season, where there was the baseball strike in 1994 that led to the strike not stopping before the season was over. So that's why there was no 1994 World Series. And this is the issue with the 94 baseball preview. And Nick says, well, I don't remember there being an episode where Sideshow Bob had a brother and it was voiced by David Hyde Pierce, who was his brother on Frasier. Bert, I just want to slice you a pie. Hey, see my new knife? I just want to cut you a brownie, Bart. No. A new one for the Panty of the Month Club. Panty of the Month Club. Woohoo! Should I call the number for Panty of the Month Club to see what it is? There is a chance that the Panty of the Month Club might still be around. Well, now, which would you rather see? Would you rather see the centerfold or would you rather see the Elle Macpherson spread? Here's mine. Nick says, I got to go. Everyone have a great night. Well, all right, everybody. Wish Nick a good night here. But now for the rest of us that are going to be there, what would you rather see? Would you rather see Elle Macpherson spread or would you rather see the centerfold? Spider Fan gives a vote for Elle Macpherson. All right, so that's one for her. So, okay. Centerfold or Elle Macpherson? Which one would you rather see? You got to make the choice. We've got one vote for Elle Macpherson right now. So I'm just taking it all in at one point. Okay, well, we've got RJ McCready votes for Elle. Vanessa votes for the centerfold. So that's 2-1 for Elle Macpherson over the centerfold. And the centerfold also was in a couple of Andy Sedaris' films. Shay Marks is her name. So that's now 3 votes, 3-1 for for Elle Macpherson over the centerfold. Okay. Well, I'm guessing because there's 3-1 in the chat. Let's go with this one. And well, I mean, we still can't, we can still go and talk about the centerfold here. And well, there is a bit. Hey, this centerfold does work in a way where I can show you at least a portion of it. Oh, damn. Right there. I mean, that's nice. Let's see. Now we'll get there. Well, we saw a good portion. There's Vanessa doing the Awoga. Dive, 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 dive. Alpha Proto. Well, Alpha Proto, we were saying, would you want to see the centerfold or Elle Macpherson? But now 4-1 people voted Elle Macpherson. So let's go and see where she's got. Dennis Leary gets the 20 questions. Oh, pole position. Well, here is Elle Macpherson's first page spread. It looks like she's in a wig, but there it is. Right there. Still looks nice. Alpha Proto says the 90s were okay, but the women look better in the 80s. Okay. Elle still looks good in her 60s. Oh, I agree to that one. I've seen her. I have seen her. Then we got this one right here. She seems like a nice lady, even when she's pistol packing. Then you got this one right here. And remember, this was also around the same time she was in that one Weinstein production, Sirens, which the movie might as well have been called Elle Macpherson Gets Naked. And this was photographed by the fashion photographer Herb Ritz, who also did some directing work. He directed Michael Jackson's In the Closet video, if you remember that. Little fun right there. Oh, nice ass. Yes. Then there's this one right here. Very fun, isn't it? Colossus just fell. Then again, can you blame him? There's one. Very, very nice. She seems like a nice lady. And then we've got it ends on this one, which they have like a centerfold right here. Clearly in like a almost like fembot looking kind of wig. Yes. Boing. Boing. Well, if you liked Shay Marks so well, then here's another section of her. Oh, wait, yeah. Ah, crap. And then, yeah, there we go. Except that time it was deliberate, not an accident. I bet now Alpha Proto just did the cartoon thing with the eyes I was talking about earlier. You're not just awooga, awooga, awooga. I got to get some of those glasses now, don't I? Awooga, awooga, dive, 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 dive. Well, Alpha Proto, this is why now I implore all of you to show your support with super chatting. Yes. This is when you bring in your super chats. This is when you gift channel members. This is when you go and follow the link to my store to drop in a donation. I'm not reporting the stream, says RJ. Vanessa like said, oh shit, nice. That's Are you going to do a 2000s edition of your Playboy collection? Asks Spider Fan. Yes. That is next. That is definitely next. Awooga, awooga. I know you're all looking forward to that one. Just a little fun right there. Knowing you'd like that one. a little, no, awooga fun right there. That's it. I think everybody now, I'm just going to sit back a little and let them recover from all the fainting that they did at the sight of, that lady. If you're still going awooga, just say so. I'm giving you all a moment to recover. And yes, the Slinky Eye sunglasses are available. Only $6.20 on Amazon. They look like they could be fun. But maybe that would be something else to look into. If you like that. Oh, you like it. Oh, that's a good one there. We have a lot of fun together, don't we? I think we do. Getting a little, it's getting hot here. The Spider Fans, do you have the Star Wars issue from 2005? It would be fitting to showcase that since it's the 20th anniversary of Episode 3. Yeah, that one actually I don't have. I've seen it around. There is a vintage store around here, I think, that does have it. So I could go there. I could try that. I think we got it. I don't mind Forever Lost. He's just pitching a tent. Jim is pitching a tent. I think we're gonna go and do that. Mm-hmm. And well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as you're all talking, I did go and do a. I did order those Slinky Eye glasses. So yes, those are coming. I have Slinky Eye sunglasses coming because Jim is pitching a tent. Oh yes, that is happening now. Drugs are bad, okay, because it's bad, okay, okay, okay. All right now, okay, okay, now, Mister, why are you staring? If you're doing that, then why are you staring at Counselor Mack's penis for? I was comparing size for 8 minutes. If you didn't like that, if you have lost all your sense of humor, you can always become a writer for the show Friends. Okay. Oh no, okay. Oh. Oh. It's easy. Okay. Number one, instead of ass, say buns like kiss my bunser, you're a buns hole. Number two, instead of shit, say poo like ove on the poo, or this poo is cold, cause fuck is the worst word that you can say. It's easy, okay. It's easy, okay. It's easy, okay. Alpha Proto asks, did the Suicide Girls ruin people's image of what an attractive woman is? Yes. And Vanessa with a $5 super chat says, if you get yeeted, we can all agree it was totally worth it. Yes. Well, I just got an email from YouTube right now that pops in. And YouTube just age restricted this stream. Yes. Yes, that just happened. Let me go and look at that. Let me go and read this out. Read this out live. Go and look at that. I want you all to see this too. Yes. Hi, Corloa chart. It looks like our incident there may not be appropriate for younger audiences under our community guidelines. We placed an age restriction on it. While we found your content was age restricted because of our sex and nudity policy, we can see an example of around 1 hour, 36 minute, 58 seconds, although there could be other instances. How this impacts you, this video won't be visible to viewers under the age of 18 or who are not signed in. Otherwise, your channel isn't affected. Review your content and the policy. After your review, you can ask us to take another look if you think we got it wrong. Learn about your resolution options, how we find issues. Yes. But, Vosh can go and flaunt, underage girls fucking horses porn on his computer, and that's perfectly fine. He'll never get deplatformed. He'll never get yeeted. Although, it would be nice to see him get yeeted from life with a 45. But hey, that's what's going on. Yes. Or as RJ says, you violated the policy by showing a female over the age of 14. Yes. Considering the type of the age that Silicon Valley prefers, yeah, they definitely don't like that. Considering the Vosh meme of no, it should be lower. I want to, yeah. What's the? I found it. I found an example. Yes. Mr. Vosh, do you support AOC? No, it should be lowered. Yes. Just a little bit of that, right there. Yes, questions right there. Well, I think this answers the question of whether or not I would do any more of these streams. Turns out, yeah, these types, yeah, no. Now we've answered the question on that one. We have answered that question resoundingly. Sadly, Spider-Fan, there are still people that take Vosh seriously. So, yeah. People that defend his big stream where he was watching his masturbatory fantasies of Kamala becoming president die on the Vine and him getting humiliated. The Kino Casino people did a reaction to his stream, and them mocking the fuck out of him was, yeah, that you done fucked up. Well, he does suck off horses, literally, Vosh, so yes. And it's not even like in the Ali G movie where he tries to say, "Oh no, I was on my friend's horse farm. I slipped and my open mouth landed on the horse's phallus, and because it was mating season, the horse was aroused." What's wrong? What, you feeling a bit hoarse? That's the truth. The hooves. They think you're feeling burn. Are you gonna go back and now talk to Wilbur? Now this is the moment where anybody else besides Vanessa wants to go and drop in some super chats. This is the moment to do it. This is the moment. This is the time to bring it in for a little optic blast. Optic blast, optic blast, optic blast. If you enjoy a little bit of that, because, well, why not? I think it might just work. If you have that image in your mind. Maybe, two minds about everything. I'm not sure. And there's also those vintage Playboys I've put up in my store. We have those now, starting with those two in the posters and sketches category. It's crazy. So crazy, it just might work. Oh, no, I go now. You know what I do? The name, it is pistachio. Oh, and the disguise, oh, the foblisi. Furabarabazi, oh, la gotta do be. Oh, where is the mama? Oh, yes. There he is with optic blast. And then we have to do the pose, little legs that kind of go forward. A little stiff on these legs. Don't want to break them off, so be careful. But still, we can still do bah! Or you just want to go and berserk right there. Should I call you Logan, Weapon X? No, Wolverine, Snitty Snoich. Yes, Alaganouche. This one. Alpha Proto says, I thought The Master of Disguise was a horrible movie, but I loved the commentary. That was very funny. Then the audio commentary on Master of Disguise, I've never listened to it, but maybe in the future I will. To realize if am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? Turtle, 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 turtle. The turtle, 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 turtle. And remember, that Turtle Man scene from the movie, the Turtle Guy, that was actually filmed on 9/11. September 11th, 2001 was when, on that day in the shooting schedule for Master of Disguise, that was where imagine Dana Carvey's reaction to 9/11 in that turtle makeup. I think maybe there's something else to do besides turtle, like turtle. Turtle. Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? Turtle. It's not so much the misconception of thinking that a turtle club is exclusively for reptiles, but that he repeats the word turtle over and over. I don't get it. He repeats the word turtle over and over. I don't get it. Well, fuck you. I thought it was funny. Yes. The turtle guy bites a man's nose off and spits it back onto his face. What the hell? The turtle, like turtle. And if you remember the summer that movie came out, like half of the marketing was just built around the turtle guy. That's what they had. That's what the movie gave the marketing to work with. You got a little winner and tiny nuts. How about you? You got a little winner and some tiny nuts. And maybe no wonder Brent Spiner didn't have that much of a career outside of Star Trek stuff, considering that him as the villain in that movie is the biggest thing he got to do after Star Trek Nemesis. Oh, yeah, that is true. Looked it up. Looked it up at the Master of Disguise that they shot the turtle guy scene on September 11th, 2001. Yeah, dude, the marketing was so bad. If anything, it showed you what the movie was like. When you see a terrible movie that cannot hide its awfulness in the marketing, that's not good. That is not good. And apparently Alpha Proto says that movie is where I discovered Jessica Simpson. Well, okay. A little winner and some tiny nuts. You got a little winner and some tiny nuts. Holy halabatas. Holy halabatas. Oh, hello. You see, this is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do. Get it? Got it? Got it. I'll get that bit actually did get a little chuckle, at least a little bit of a chuckle. Mm. Oh no, I ran away. Mm. Oh, well, I appealed that, and it looks like YouTube already made a decision about my appeal on the age restriction. So let's see. We reached a decision on appeal. After taking another look, we can confirm that your content does not violate our community guidelines. Thanks for your patience while we reviewed this appeal. Our goal is to make sure content doesn't violate our community guidelines so that YouTube can be a safe place for all. And sometimes we make mistakes trying to get it right. We're sorry for any frustration our mistake has caused you, and we appreciate you letting us know. So yes, the age restriction was removed off the stream. This stream was age restricted. I filed an appeal and successfully was granted my appeal all within a few minutes. Yay, indeed, Vanessa. So, like I said, let's celebrate with some super chats. You can't give all your super chats to as screaming and shouting about pronouns. Dang, that was fast. A great moment in the internet. Yes, we have to document this. We have to clip all of this. Oh, nice. Yes. Or, as he would say, do swadanya. Now, true freedom for the, like you see in Amerikansky land, Tovarish. Yeah, that would be boring. So crazy, it just might work. And talking about the great white chief. Stop becoming another person. Alan away. No, we do this. I'll give this movie 1 point for getting me to laugh at a fart joke. That's actually hard to do. It was funny. Despite all this horrible, unfunny humor, there's this fascinating journey that this goes. This one fart joke. I am the breaking of the wind. It's the running gag with Brent Spiner's character as the villain, where every time he does a big monologue where he does a big villain laugh, he winds up just uncontrollably farting for a bit and then shuts up. Rest Forever says, dude, that's pure awesome. By the way, the was never gave as shit. The was never gave the was is that a channel out there I'd never heard of? Or, of course, for those, this is a moment to celebrate with more super chats instead of giving them all to Disparu, who, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, has nothing interesting or original to say, and is butt fucking ugly, but, he's friends with a critical drinker and Mauler, so people keep giving him their subscriptions and their supers and their attention. Well, the guy should be like a night manager at a Cornetto factory from like 1 to 7 in the morning. No, the guy should be a delivery truck driver for Cornetto ice creams wherever he is in the UK. But, because of who he's friends with and having an English accent, it shows you how easy it is to make it on YouTube, so long as, just like in Hollywood, so long as you have an accent. But we came, we saw, and we conquered, so maybe there will be a 2000s Playboy retrospective for tomorrow night. And I think Colossus also would enjoy that. Well, our friend here, Cyclops, well, he's married, so he has to be very quiet about his enjoyment of Playboy because, well, remember, he's got Jean, so you don't want to get Jean Grey angry at you. And then there's, well, this guy, if he's in a relationship or not, he doesn't give a shit. He's going to enjoy Playboy. Buying your stuff seems better than SC 100% profit. It was a typo. Okay. All right then. Not really a massive As fan. He's meh. Well, I'm not a super fan or whatever, but I do like how the way he drives his detractors so insane. When you look at EVS or when you look at, either him or your boy Zach and how much he makes them so angry, even if as is not somebody you're super fan of, the fact that he gets so many detractors so personally angry at him, how This guy who they hate him, they call him a shrieking man baby, they say he's a bald middle-aged clown or whatever, but every time he shrieks performatively like he's a 6-year-old throwing his applesauce on the floor and banging a spoon on the high chair, they just wind up hate watching him even more. Alpha Proto says, I'm ruined. When I hear that quote, well, he thinks of Val Venus. I came, I saw, I came again. Because when you're on one of these streams, it's like a Rubik's Cube. The more you play with it, the harder it gets. Hello, ladies. If only I had access to 90s Jenna Jameson to do like segments with, where I'd be standing naked with a bush covering my crotch, and then she'd be standing in the bush next to me when you get to see her that she's naked from the shoulders up. And I'd be on the set of my new movie, Lust in Space. Yes. Hello, ladies. I'll say this much, he has pull for sure. Yeah, there's that. As essentially the rodeo clown for Friday Night Tights. No, the Rich Evans for Friday Night Tights. That's more specifically. The Rich Evans of Friday Night Tights. That's as. And yes, Forever Lost, you agree with that? I do make the ladies hit the ceiling. Oh, when I hit the ceiling, holler if you hear me. That's my freaks and my peaks. Oh, holler if you hear me. Is that what you do there? And well, now we got to go and bring this all around to an end. This was a great big victory for us. This is a great big fun time for us. So we got to round this out. Any other messages you want to give as we close out the stream? Let's give them. Let's do them. Get it. Go to doubt it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We got a little bit of fun to do. Yes. Why is it called cheesing? Because it's fun to do. And well, on that note, I want to thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel to hit 10,000 subs. Become a channel member today and shop in my art store with the second link below, where you can buy my art, you can commission me, or you can support me directly with a donation in the store, where now I've got a couple vintage Playboys up there for sale. So remember, tomorrow I have my shorts at 5 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 and 6. I'll have a new video at 6:30, and I will be live again at 10. So felines, slam it, lick it, suck it, and